Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to ShortSalePowerHour.com. This episode today is, missing somebody. He's at his desk working right now, and I don't think he anticipated me hitting the record button on the camera, but we've got things to do, places to go, people to see, so it's time to get down to business. So, hey, my name's Fred Weaver.
Good news, buddy. There's 20 comparable homes in Fountain Hills built in 1987.
That's awesome. My business partner, Kevin Kaufman, is noisily entering the screen, and we're group 4610. You're watching Short Sale Power Hour.
Oh, is that what we're doing now?
Yep. So I'm motivated and inspired today to talk about a subject, and I'm going to do my best not to bash this particular group. Is that a way to say it?
Yeah, I think a group.
Entity?
Well, it's not an entity. There's multiple ones.
Correct. Okay, so we're going to talk about HOAs.
Yeah, in the short sale process.
Yeah, so essentially, in the short sale process, from time to time, we have to deal with homeowners associations.
Yeah.
And from time to time, guys like our friend Brian Gubernick happen to BCC us on fun email escalations, and the one I just got a few moments ago happened to be from a HOA escalation that he was doing.
I wasn't going to go that far, but okay.
Oh, you weren't?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we talk a lot about this in classes that we teach, that not everybody has the same interest in a transaction.
Well, absolutely.
Right? Like the mortgage insurance company and the investor, the seller and the buyer, the agents, they don't all have the same interest.
In fact, no two parties have the same interest in the transaction.
Now, sometimes their interests align, like my interest in the homeowner's interest aligns, and then I want them to avoid foreclosure.
Right.
Right? Like the buyer wants the deal to close, but their overall interests, there's differences among them. So HOAs are kind of a weird anomaly in the process, because depending upon what part of the country you're in, you may see homeowners association companies behave differently.
Well, yeah, and like in Arizona, so we are what's known as a non-super lien state, which simply means if a home goes to foreclosure, the bank that takes that property back is not responsible for whatever HOA dues were accumulated before the date they took ownership.
Correct. So the first thing, if I was a viewer of today's episode, so for the couple of you that are out there watching, couple hundred actually, but I'm just having fun with them today.
Both of you.
Both of you out there, I would encourage you to go identify, are you a super lien state or a non-super lien state? Because that will tell you, again, as Kevin just mentioned, if the home forecloses, does the bank that forecloses or repossesses that home, do they have to pay off all the HOA liens, or do those HOA liens disappear at foreclosure?
Right.
Essentially, that's the conversation. So once you determine that, then you can add a little strategy to your escalation and your work negotiation, if you will, with HOAs.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, like as an example, in Arizona, where those liens essentially disappear for the lender, sometimes, not always, and it's in fact rarely, but sometimes the HOA payoff amount can be the difference maker in whether or not a home, whether or not a short sale should go through or not on the bank side of things. Yeah. Meaning, hey, let's say you've got a $30,000 condo with a $10,000 HOA payoff, like one I've heard about recently.
Well, let's just use like a $24,000 condo, a $29,000 condo with a $10,000 HOA
$10,000 payoff.
So the HOA lien, if you will, on the property is equal to a third of the value of the home.
33%. Wow, that's huge. So the lender's going, well, if I just let that home foreclose, say in a month down the road, I can take it back. I don't owe the HOA any money.
And my net proceeds just improved by 33%.
Exactly. So that's a strategy in Arizona. That's the thing you've got to understand when you're dealing in a non-super lien state like Arizona.
Now, the HOA company, if they had any intelligence to them, and some do, some don't, but if an intelligent HOA company shows up on the scene, they would look at it and go, oh, okay, a $10,000 HOA payoff, but this home has a sale date in June, 30 days from now. We might as well just take the couple $100s we're being offered and just, in
addition to the transfer fee, in addition to the person that will now be occupying the home and carrying for it, in addition to
rather than asking for the $10,000 we're owed, because the reality is we're not going to get $10,000 in a short sale. Somebody hasn't been paying us for years, obviously.
Right.
They're
not even going to get $500.
No.
I mean, they won't even get that.
Yeah.
So you might as well take your $500.
Yep. Now, coupled with that would be the fact that an HOA company might actually take an interest in the person that's actually living in their community. Maybe this person might happen to be deceased, Perhaps
Well, they wouldn't actually be living in the community then.
Correct. So they used to live in the community, stopped paying their HOA fees, when they got moved into a hospice facility, and then they were deceased, and now their son or something like that might be selling it. So, I'm not going to go into details around Brian Gubernick's transaction, but it might be helpful if HOA companies actually did a little homework.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So the point is sometimes you're going to run into situations where HOAs really do make the difference. They can be the difference maker, and you've got to understand super lien state, non-super lien state. If it's a non-super lien state like Arizona, that's easy. You escalate to the HOA company. If you're in a super lien state where the bank's actually going to have to pay those fees anyways, well, then you continue escalating the way you normally would, and you go up through the chain of command at the lender.
Say, hey, look, dummies, at the lender, you're going to have to pay this either way. You're just making the balance go up by waiting longer.
Exactly. So, pick your poison. Which one is it?
Yeah. Greatest tip of the day I can give you is if you have a living, non-deceased, is that a word? Homeowner? Somebody that...
you could just say living.
Living homeowner. Okay, but I like non-deceased.
With pulse.
If your homeowner has a pulse, encourage them to make their HOA payments, even if they're not paying their house.
That's a good tip right there. Make your HOA
That's probably the best tip ever. They don't have to deal with any of this garbage.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Short sale power hour! Short sale power hour!
Crush it, HOAs.